Hey, Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So I've reopened the mentorship. I closed earlier, beginning of summer, to take some time off. I got a daughter getting married. I have 4 kids. I'm really excited. I've actually already got some people I just signed up. And, it's just the opportunities before you are so great. I've been doing this for 43 years. And when I see somebody new to real estate, or somebody even that maybe has been in it for 10 or 20 years, but they just, still lack all the confidence that, they'd like to have, it's just wonderful to see how quickly, especially those that have money, right? And this is kind of to you, medium to high earners, people that got maybe 50 to, $500,000 cash saved. Or even, listen, I opened the door up for everybody, I was young once too, and I don't alienate anybody for not having money, although it does cost money, of course, to get in the class and to get, to be a part of this. But it's important you get a skill. But so we can talk about anything you want to talk about. If you don't have my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. And equally important is you hit that subscribe button. Hit that subscribe button and get in here and start getting some skills. You can YouTube University. Now, obviously, there's a lot of direction out there, and a lot of it's garbage, but there is some good stuff. And you'll only get the truth from me. I've been doing this for, for a very long time. And also, I'm live. If you want to call in, you can call in. Let's see if I can find that phone number here. There you go. Looks like a little conflict on here. Let me move that out of the way. I'll stick that over there. But you can see the live call-in number here over here on to my right. And look, many people will make excuses to not get involved, to not buy anything, and I tell you, you're just, you're hurting yourself. I hate to tell you. You're hurting yourself because you don't know, you don't know, and if you don't take time to find out about certain things, you're never going to know what you're missing. And I got lots of examples of that, and I'd be happy to show some. I'd really like somebody to kind of tell me what you're concerned with as an investor. Obviously, if you don't know what you're doing, you should be cautious. You should be careful. But there's there is just too many things that you're missing out on if you don't take time to learn. And you can apply it to the jobs that you have. Many of you made a lot of money having a certain skill set that you had. Well, you had to learn it somewhere, right? Either learned it, by somebody training you or teaching you, or maybe you went to school, or whatever the case is. But so anyways, but just to give you a quick idea about this, let me go to the full cam here. I can show you, just example after example. I'm going to show you a property I bought for $64,000. Yeah, take a look at this. This is an overpass, right? Okay, and this is just one of hundreds that I've bought. But I bought this when I was pretty young. I wasn't even a millionaire. I bought this with like $10,000 down. I bought it from a woman named Lillian Kalari. And let me make sure I have my bearings right here. Yeah. So this property, just to give you an idea, was probably about the 10th property that I bought, maybe, but I held it for a while. But it was because I knew it was in the path of progress. My property went from about the center of that overpass to about right here, down here, right about like that. And actually I had 2 parcels. There was a split down the middle here as well. Anyways, that $64,000, or really the $10,000 that I invested in buying this, it came with this little house. You see this? I actually had 2 houses. Maybe one of them burned down. Yeah, I think they took one out. Had this house here, you see, this little house here in the front, and then there was another little house, and there's a funny story that goes along with that house, right here in the back. Unless they mowed them both over, and those are both new, I don't think so, though. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Anyways, in this situation, this overpass didn't exist, but they had a thing called the peripheral loop. And I knew they were going to make the peripheral loop. And the peripheral loop is a way to get around the whole city with this overpass that I just showed you right here, right? There. And then look at, here's the sister overpass right out of town, right there. See? Identical. Identical. Just one's busy. The one that I bought is the one that's like the busy one, the more valuable one, where the land is. There's it went over a, no, that's not it, one more over. Yeah, right here. This was a big industrial park they just developed, and I ended up going to eminent domain, and, you'll learn about this stuff. But just this one purchase with $10,000, and I think I paid her like $400 a month, but there was 2 houses on it, and one of them already rented for like, I don't know, about $400 or $500, and then I rented the second one. It wasn't being rented; it was kind of run down, but I cleaned it up a little bit, and I got a little bit of money out of that, and for $10,000, and just a little bit of elbow grease in the beginning, I had this thing, paying for itself, and actually, making a tiny bit of money, and next thing you know, I sold the $64,000 lot that I purchased, like I said, with $10,000 down. My $10,000, quickly turned into about $400,000. Yeah, ultimately, I got 290, and then I got another 110 for another little piece of it, and I got $400,000. I should have, could have got more, but I was young, and I had to deal with fighting the city over it, which is not easy to do. But again, one after another, there's all kinds of things. I can take you to a piece of land. I bought all kinds of property. I bought over 60 lots in this area right here. Most of them I paid anywhere from $8,000 to $10,000 for, and I sold them for anywhere from $25,000 to $30,000. So land is a wonderful game, and I've done a lot of that, and a lot of my students are doing it too. And then houses, right? Let's go to just regular houses. That's what most of you are most familiar with. But this is a little FHA home. And a lot of homes I couldn't afford to buy by myself because I didn't have enough money, but I would find a deal, and the deal would be the best thing, right? In other words, there was money on the table, so then I could simply take a partner that would put up the money. That was what I did. I brought in the deal, and they brought in the cash. We sold it, and then we split the money. On this one here, this was a big breakthrough because I'd already done about, 5 deals with my one, what I called my money partner at the time. He was the one that had the money. And he actually, this was the last deal we did. We'd bought several houses, but this last house I bought with him, we bought this for $40,000. I was going to sell it right away for $55,000, and he said, "Hey, I want to keep it." So he just bought me out of my half of my interest in that, and I had $7,500. But we had done that multiple times in this neighborhood. Out here, this was another big one. I call this the cockroach house. This was actually a pretty big house. Again, another interesting story. Every one of them is different. Because people wonder, well, why would anybody sell a house for 50 cents on the dollar? There's reasons. In this case, it was just the old man that was living here, his mental health was gone, and his kids just wanted him out. And so I was the first one there, made a decent offer, and I got a $64,000 home for $34,000, and and I sold it, and me and my buddy split $30,000, and and this is back in the '80s, so really that's like more like splitting $90,000 today. But those little increments of getting 15 here, 7,000 there, and then ultimately buying this little piece here, where I bought that by myself. Again, I flipped that very quickly, made 20, and next thing you know, I didn't need a partner anymore because the class of properties that I was buying and the values that I was buying, I could buy without them now. And where I used to be dependent on a money person, I started to get the money myself. Then pretty soon the bank liked me. Then pretty soon I had lines of credit, and I could buy. I could just do it with the bank's help. Hey, Anderson, good to see you in here. So Anderson or anybody else out there, is there anything holding you back, or maybe maybe you don't fall into the class of having extra cash? It can even be, even if you have Like I say, I bought my first property. That's my first property I ever bought right there. Bought it with $10,000. That's all I had. I mean, I didn't even have it. I bought it. If you guys know the story, and most of you probably do, I got that thing tied up with $500, and I got a 6-month escrow, and I actually moved into this building. My first building ever is right there, and it was kind of a retail industrial, right? It was 5,900 square feet, 3,500 square foot metal building in the back, and about 2,400 square foot of just frame and stucco. Let's see. Echo wrote, "How long did it take you to find the partner of yours, Mr. Tom? Sounds like a very interesting story." Yeah. So he was actually a friend of mine. I met him. I don't even remember exactly where I met Dan now, but Dan was a little bit older than me, and he was actually considered a computer programmer. So that's what I think he called himself back then. And this is like in 1981, right? Computer's been around a long time, but the personal's not so long. But the personal computers were just coming out at that time in early '81. But he was he's one of those early computer programmers, and so he made decent money. He had a real nice home, and he had credit worthy and everything else. Like I say, he was in his 30s. I was like barely 20s, and but I found the deal, and he understands the math, and so we did that, and and like I say, we probably split maybe, I don't know, 80 grand between us. Not that much, right? Between about 5 deals, we made maybe $80,000, and and I don't mean 80,000 each. We split that much. I got somebody calling in, maybe. Oh shit. Anyways, but if anybody wants to call in, please do, and we can talk about anything. A lot of people prefer just to listen to some conversation going on. Any conversation, of course, usually leads to better stories, anyways. So if anybody wants to call in, please do. But let's get back to that question. You're in the class. I'm in the class. Although I just finished looking at deals. Oh, you're in the class. Hey, Anderson, you're already in the class. All right. I thought the name was familiar. Tom sounds like yeah. Anyways, so look, Anderson, you're in the class. Maybe you could share. Yeah, you're enjoying the class, I assume. Yeah, I think you've only been in there like about a month. I do know your name, but anyways, I'm getting more aggressive here, starting to open up the doors. Like I say, I shut down for the summer, and I hope you were there last week, because that was really really great Saturday class, by the way. I had video from me being in a fight before the city council with the neighborhood, and so you'll see me, fighting the good fight from whatever 18 years ago. So it was pretty fun. But like I say, there's just so much. There's so much opportunity out there, and like I say, this is when I was in my 20s. I bought the properties that you see here, and they start to get spread out a little bit. But for the most part, where it started was right here. And we tell everybody all the time, the properties and the deals are much closer than you think, and then, this is only a mile away, from here to here. Everything's very close. I made $165,000 on a piece of land out here, and another somewhere out here. There's another one, over here. I made $350, and that was like 1989. That's what put me over the top, made me a true, a millionaire. I could say I definitely had $1 million, net worth from the real estate that I had acquired, and having those rentals come in, it's just a wonderful thing, and but if you don't get a good mentor, that things like that may not happen quite so well. Sometimes I feel like I'm waving from a swamp, right? I'm in the swamp, and it's just the only way I'm going to stand out is, of course, if you listen and you take a look and you learn the right questions to ask. There's a lot of people that just blindly trust people. They got a good spiel, or they got a good, they put on a good. But really they don't talk in substantives. In other words, they don't show you actual properties that they bought. But the short of it is, once you get going, you can end up having a huge portfolio. I have hundreds of thousands of square feet now, and every deal I've purchased, and I remember every detail of every deal that I've ever done. I've got apartment buildings, houses, large acreage, individual lots, fill-in lots, multiple apartment units and multifamily stuff. Retail I'm very fond of. Offices, I got some really nice big office space too. Always stays full. And there's been some concerns and problems, and I've held back a little bit on buying some stuff. But in the office realm, especially when with the pandemic was going on so strong. But anyways, I just would urge you to go to FlipAnythingUSA. It doesn't take but a minute to go right here and apply for mentorship. And like I say, mentorship's not cheap at the highest level, but anywhere in between, anything, just get your foot in the door. Get your foot in the door, because it only takes one little deal, and you'll more than pay for the class, 10 times over. And then take a look at the testimonials. This is something that people don't do enough. They do too much trusting, and they don't look at enough of the testimonials. But a good teacher by their students, right? And I got multi-millionaire students now, and some that have made just 50, 100,000, many hundreds of thousands, and many now millions of dollars, plural, millions of dollars. And so don't waste any time. There's it's just so easy. There's so many distractions out there. But it's just the things that it opens up for you. Just look in the mirror and look how old you are now, and look at a picture from 10 years ago. Time's gone by. Well, the good thing about that is, if you're investing along the way, you're going to go, damn, that's paid for, or that's almost paid for. Or, instead of, having 20, 30, 40,000 a month coming in, or whatever, maybe instead of having 1,000 a month coming in, now maybe you have $10,000 a month, passive income coming in. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars now a month coming in. I can buy a house, and pay cash just with the rental income from a single month. And, it didn't happen overnight, but it's been fun all along the way. So Echo one, or Econ, I don't know. Anyways, my turn, or no, it says, Mr. Tom, I'm 18, probably get this a lot from the youth these days. Since every kid wants to make it young, what would you say to your 18-year-old self trying to get into your industry? Well, dude, I have 4 kids. I say to myself what I tell my kids. If you haven't seen the father-son video, and I'll take you to this because it is such a worthwhile video. Let me go in here real quick here. Let's see if it pops up here. Yeah. Tom here, FlipAnythingUSA. So this is a video that the first one I did with my son, and this is the video I would tell you to watch. I would tell you to watch this, but in all honesty, it's a really good question. If I would have just concentrated on real estate only, right? In other words, if I just concentrated on real estate, and that could have been maybe being an agent or something else, I don't know. But not being an agent, but being an investor first. But I got that because I was, got a skill as a cabinet maker, and I was learning, to be a better finished carpenter. I was very young, You can only be so good of a carpenter when you're, 19, starting a company. You've only been, working with people for a couple of years that know what they're doing. You got to have a skill, and you want a skill that pays well. And, carpentry is a skill that does pay well. If you know what you're doing and you're a decent little, businessman, you can do extremely well. And then you can take that income that you got, and you can parlay that into buying stuff. Plus you'll be encircled by people that are builders. I sold many builders houses that they went to build houses on. So I would tell you to, Get a skill and talk to people that have what you want, right? It's always good to talk to people that have what you want. You know, when people ask me questions, and you can ask me pretty pointed questions, you want to know, hey, how did you do it? And that's what you're doing, kind of, but, when somebody's in your own town, you can learn a lot because they know a little bit more about the town and what they've done in there, where the opportunities are. So, but if you are concentrated on real estate, and the more you talk to people that are successful in real estate, you'll learn more things that are relevant to investing in real estate. It's pretty simple. But, I talk about what I call real estate barbells, where, I buy up around an area, like it ends up looking like a barbell, like, here, and then you got properties that are bought along the way, and then there's another wad. This is like a bunch of properties around my home, and all these are, so you can see there's a lot of them. And then, there's another 20, 30 properties here around my office. So you got 20, 30 around my office, and you got another 20, 30 around my home, and then in between, where I drive by. And that's why I say, and this is why I can say I can throw a rock and hit tens of millions of dollars worth of real estate that I own. And some I've flipped, but, people say, well, why would you sell something? Well, the only reason I ever sell anything is to take that income and use it to buy something that I can make more. So in other words, maybe I sell something for $1 million that I made $500,000 on, and then I buy something that's, 3 or 4 million that's worth, $1 million more than I'm paying for it. So I make $1 million that day, that very day that I buy something. But it's equity. And at that point, it's equity. But that equity translates into a higher cap rate on whatever asset I buy. I might buy something that has it can have a 10, 20% cap rate sometimes. But it's because I bought it under market. And that's kind of what I teach people to do in my book, wake up and smell the real estate. But most particularly, in the mentorship, because it just makes a world of difference when you have somebody that's accessible to you, that can answer your questions. You get in a pinch, get in a bind, or you get an opportunity, and you're a little bit, I'm not sure what to do. And then it's just easy for somebody like me to say, do this, do this, do this. And so that's how you fast track it. But anyways, again, please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Actually, my twin boys just turned 21 today, so it's going to be kind of a relaxed day, and I'm going to celebrate with them. And again, a little disappointed nobody called in, but hey, I understand. A lot of you guys are working. So anyways, look forward to seeing you all soon.
Stop and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything. USA, go.